Biafran, I put a seek, I very well covered. If you can, I put a seek, and if I had a very well check out, never to work one more. I went to see based on us in the view of one on Coombs and on Kumasi one more. But I thought, if you had the news I do weather today, on the ground will all go, will smoke one more. Shall we be there? Yes, the politics between America, Western Europe, and Nigeria. We are going to bring it out as the bio based on as the hot. Wow. So follow us as we go right there. We are not joking. There is no shebe. One more. Okay, for course today we go get them based on as they call. Let us go there. Hello and welcome to our today's program on Biafran Radical Freedom TV. Here with you is your own very adorable presenter, social commentator and political analyst, Ekpa Asokwo. We are going into international politics, but we are narrowing our lenses on Nigerian relationship with Western Europe and America. It is said that lies can only last for a while, as truth will always surface in the time of need. It is going very around today, the truths that have been harbored and covered for a long time. The relationship where the center is no more holding is bringing out the rabbits, the squirrels, and the grass cutters from their holes as the smoke pumps deep into the hole. Today you will see that we are very well prepared, but we are not taking chances because we will always read out the truth as it comes. It is our duty to do the needful. Thank you for joining us. We are diving straight in. Sometime last year, in 2023, the Bloomberg, the sister affiliates to the World Bank and IMF, rated Nigeria as the leading or the giant economy in the whole of Africa. This rose a lot of concern and questions where even African people themselves knew very well how Nigeria was in a state of extreme inflation and the poverty was ravaging the whole of Nigerian states, with no exception to any part of Nigeria. One wondered where the data, the indices with which the Bloomberg was using in drawing their conclusion, wherein they placed Nigeria ahead of other African states, including South Africa. Today, the New York Times has come to give the truth as it comes. A lot of you who are up to date, who follow the development of things, the current affairs and political developments around the world and Africa here in question, you will remember that sometime also last year, there were a lot of differences till earlier this year between Nigerian states, Niger, Western Europe, America. In this relationship between Western Europe, Nigeria and America, France was conspired against by its own brothers, those it has seen as brother states and partners in crime all the years. But the step to outsmart them opened the eyes of France, and France began to take another political measure. Nigeria used to be the very belonging of America and Britain, to be precise. France was just a peripheral partner. As the development continued, France noticed that even when they were ousted from Nigerian Republic, America was seen, welcomed, and they have their foot soldiers there on ground. France felt so bitter, and Britain never did anything, never commented on the matter. France had to intensify their own effort also to see how they grapple on, or how they also show America and Britain that they are still able and can still do something. They had to go closer to the Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the man who was in the race with his contemporaries in the 2023 general selection, where he, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was eventually and faultily declared the winner in that election. Even before the conclusion, while the case was still there in the electoral tribunal, France already assisted Bola Ahmed Tinubu to make him the chairman of Economic Committee of West African State, ECOWAS. There, the morale of his contemporaries, his colleagues who stood the election, was already down. France played and reminded Bola Ahmed Tinubu that his properties in America was enough to tell him that America will never be his real friends. Rather, they are going to be his good friend. Those properties and monies he forfeited in American accounts, that he should not worry. They are going to help him make them even in thousand foods. That journey, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu already has started making. Now today, as we speak, the relationship that is seared, as you can see now, the battle between America and the co-Western Europeans and France is coming now to the public limelight. They try so much to see how they can cover this, but this is not working. Although this is a very big advantage to us as they keep fighting amongst themselves. The detailed analysis, the exposition, and the economic flaws of Nigerian states was analyzed in details by New York Times. And I want to beg you to join me as we get it directly from New York Times. Please, let's go there. Punch newspaper, Tinubu government tackling economic crisis. Presidency replies New York Times, 16th June 2024. According to Premium Times, where the Nigerian presidency replies the New York Times, presidency clears misconception on New York Times report on Nigerian economy. According to the president, Nigeria is not the only country in the world facing a rising cost of living crisis. USA too is contending with a similar crisis, with families finding it hard to make ends meet. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen raised this concern recently. By agency report, June 16, 2024. Reading Times. Bio Ananuga, Special Advisor to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Information and Strategy, on Sunday reacted to a recent report published in the New York Times on Nigeria's economy. He said, Bruce Macklin and Ismail Awal's feature story, Nigeria Confronts its Worst Economic Crisis in a Generation, published on 11 June, appeared typically predetermined and follow the usual denigrating way foreign media establishments reported African countries for several decades. He said that because of the misleading slant of the report, there was need to clear up some misconceptions conveyed by the reporter as regards the economic policies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Many of the sick never even made it, but we have to take now from the getting directly from the New York Times, where the detailed analysis of the country's current economic situation will go. Nigeria confronts its worst economic crisis in a generation. People in Africa's most populous nation, are suffering as the price of food, fuel, and medicine has skyrocketed out of reach for many. You can see on the image here where mothers cannot stand, their children will take them, backing them because they can't even transport the cost of food. Now we continue. A woman suffering from hypocalcemia caused by a lack of calcium in a hospital in Nigeria. Food prices have shot up and Nigerians are not eating enough. How will they have enough nutrient in them? By Ruth Macklin and Ismail Awal, photographed by Taiwo Aina, reporting from Kanu State, Nigeria's second largest city, June 11, 2024. Get it sent to your inbox if you want. Nigeria is facing its worst economic crisis in decades, with skyrocketing inflation, a national currency in free fall, and millions of people struggling to buy food. Only 2 years ago, Africa's biggest economy, Nigeria, is projected to drop to 4th place this year. The pain is widespread. Union strike to protest salaries of around $20 a month. Is that a living wage? People die in stampedes, desperate for free sack of rice. Hospitals are overrun with women racked by spasms from calcium deficiencies. The crisis is largely believed to be rooted in two major changes implemented by a president elected just 15 months ago. The partial removal of fuel subsidies and the floating of the currency, which together have caused major price rises. A nation of entrepreneurs, Nigeria's more than 200 million citizens, are skilled at managing in tough circumstances without the services states usually provide. They generate their own electricity and source their own water. They take up arms and defend their communities when the armed forces cannot. They negotiate with kidnappers when family members are abducted. Right now, their resourcefulness is being stretched to the limits. You can see the map here: Niger, Chad, Benin, Kano, Nigeria, Abuja, Ibadan, Nasarawa, nearby connecting cities. Then from the Benin, you see Nigeria, Abuja, Ibadan, Nasarawa, Lagos, and there you see the bordering town of Cameroon by New York Times, 200 miles. No money for milk. On a recent morning, in a corner of the biggest emergency room in northern Nigeria, 3 women were convulsing in painful spasms, unable to speak. Each year, the ER at the Murtala Mohammed Specialist Hospital in Kanu, Nigeria's second largest city, received one or two cases of hypocalcemia caused by malnutrition, said Salisu Gaba, a kindly health worker who hurried from bed to bed, ward to ward. Now, with many unable to afford food, the hospital sees multiple cases every day. Mr. Gaba was sizing up the woman's husband. Which source of nutrition he recommended depended on what he thought they could afford. Baobab leaves or tiger nuts for the poor. Boiled up bones for the slightly better off. He laughed at the suggestion that anyone could afford milk. Unfortunate. This is the image here below. See for yourself. Salisu Gaba, a community health worker, trained patients at a hospital in Kano, Nigeria's second largest city, last month. More than 87 million people in Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, live below the poverty line. The issue is we are no more talking about them being poor. We are no more talking about the poverty. Now, this is the poverty where even the very poor classify this level of poverty, people of poverty, as poor people. The world's second largest poor population after India, a country 7 times its size, and punishing inflation means poverty rates are expected to rise still further this year and next. According to the World Bank, last week union shut down hospitals, courts, schools, airports, and even the country's parliament, striking in an attempt to force the government to increase the monthly salary of $20 in pay its lowest workers. But over 92% of the working age Nigerians are in the informal sector, where there are no wages and no unions to fight for them. What a pity. For the Afolabi family in Ibadan, in southwestern Nigeria, the descent into poverty started in January with the loss of an electric tuk-tuk taxi. Forced to sell the taxi to pay his family's hospital bill after the difficult birth of their second child, Babatunde Afolabi turned to occasional instruction work. He paid badly, but the family managed. We had no thoughts about starvation, he said. The image here below. Patients wait to be seen at the Murtala Mohammed General Hospital. The crowds are thinner than they used to be, as many can no longer afford the bus fare. But then, he said, cassava, the cheapest staple in many parts of Nigeria, tripled in price. All they can afford now, he said, is a few biscuits, a little bread, and a 6-year-old 20 peanuts a day. What a miserable situation. A country built on gas, Nigeria is a country heavily dependent on imported petroleum products, despite being a major oil producer in the world. After years of underinvestment and mismanagement, its state refineries produce hardly any gasoline. For decades, the national soundtrack have been home of small generator fired up during daily power outages. Petroleum products move goods and people around the country. Until recently, the government subsidized that petroleum to the tune of billions of dollars a year. Many Nigerians said the subsidy was the only useful contribution from a neglectful and predatory government. Please mark the word. predatory government, neglectful, predator, from the word predator, predatory government. Successive presidents have pledged to remove the subsidy which drains a shafty chunk of government revenue, and later backtracked, fearing mass unrest. Nigeria is a country that runs on imported gasoline, which the government has long subsidized to the tune of $1 billion a year. Mind you, the image here you can see and get the point clearer. Where motorists are moving and they are few and the road is scanty. But the who was elected Nigerian president last year initially followed through. It was a necessary action for my country not to go bankrupt, Mr. Tinubu said in April at a meeting of the World Economic Forum in Saudi Arabia. Instead, many Nigerians are going bankrupt or working multiple jobs to stay afloat. Mr. Gaba, the hospital worker, used to be solidly middle class, even though 17 family members, including 12 children, depended on him. After shift at the hospital where he is setting up the first statewide ambulance service, in addition to working in the emergency room, for which he is paid $150 a month, he heads to the Red Cross, where he occasionally receives a 3.30 volunteer stipend for helping tackle a severe diphtheria outbreak. At night, he works at the pharmacy that he and a colleague set up. But few people have money for medicines anymore. He sells about $7 worth of medicine per day. What can this fix? Last year, Mr. Gaba sold his car when the gas subsidies were removed and now takes a tuk-tuk to work. Unable to power the generator, he reads medicine labels at the pharmacy by the light of a small solar lantern. He can only afford to buy rice and cassava in small quantities, no more in livestock. Life under the previous government was very expensive, he said, but nothing like today. It is very, very bad, he said. It has gotten so dirty that there have been several deadly stampedes for free or discounted rice distributed by the government, including one in March at a university in the central state of Nasarawa, where 7 students were killed on stampede account. The vast majority of Nigerians work in the informal sector with no salaries, union, or safety nets. And because of skyrocketing inflation, many can no longer afford basic like food. Mr. Tinubu promised to create 1 million jobs and quadruple the size of the economy within a decade, but has not said how. The word of Yahoo Yahoo. The International Monetary Fund said last month the state has started subsidizing fuel and electricity again, though the government has not acknowledged this information. There is still very little clarity, if any, on where the economy is headed. What the priorities are, said Zainab Usman, a political economist and director of the African program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. The tapping craze, a spate of new crypto mining games that promise to generate income the more the users play, has people across Nigeria spending all day tapping on their smartphone screen, desperate to earn a few dollars, but all to no avail. People tap as they pray in mosque, and churches. Children tap under desk at school. Mothers tap even at funeral grounds. Many Nigerians desperately hope they have spent tapping the smartphone cryptocurrency mining app will eventually earn them a bit of cash. One man, Biafran, says he made millions of naira this way, when we know this is not in any way verifiable. There is no guarantee any of them will ever benefit from the hours they put in the mindlessly tapping. Then again, they can count on the national currency, the naira. The government has twice devalued the naira in the past year, trying to enable it to float more freely and attract foreign investment. The upshot it's lost nearly 70% of its value against the dollar. Naira cannot produce enough food for its growing population. Food imports rise 2% annually. The currency devaluation cost those imports, already expensive because of high tariff, that follows up, to explode in pride. To explode in price. The currency devaluation cost those imports, already expensive because of high tariffs, to explode in price. Nigeria can become popular almost overnight, so they are searching for anything that might hold its value or ideally get them rich. People are looking for a meal. People are looking for me. People are looking for me everywhere, said Biafran, the undisputed king of tapping in Kanu. Opening one of his 5 foldable phones to add to his 2.7 million tap on the Tap Swap app, not to attack me, but to collect something from me. A relaxed, businesslike 39-year-old followed everywhere by young tech-savvy acolytes, Mr. Biafran, who only says that he made over $10,000 from the previous tapping craze. All lies. With the proceeds from the tapping, Biafran is opening an office in Kanu to promote and educate people on cryptocurrencies. Nigeria already has the world's second highest cryptocurrency adoption rate. He profits from everyone else's tap, so he encouraged them in the post on social media and by providing free internet to anyone willing to sit outside his house. Okay, you have gotten the focus of the ESA. You have gotten it all. Then that's why Tinubu is writing back to the premium time. That is to New York time. Tinubu is writing back using the premium time to reply the New York time. Time shall tell. Let's continue with the program and analysis. Okay, you all can see how New York Times took their time to finish the Nigerian state, where the presidency of Nigerian state used premium time. Can you see the rhymes? Tell me, a country where the citizens have to do the cardinal role of a government by themselves, is that country not worth to cease to exist? Here, from the detailed analysis, the people here, Gaba, the people that are bringing even this article to the New York Times, who also sent their own investigators to verify this, these are, you can see the name, Gaba, these are Hausa people. Good. Now, they took their time to bring in everything that makes for the responsibility of a state is neglected. None is attended to by the Nigerian state. Now, the citizens cannot even afford to access health facility, cannot access medication. They don't even have enough to eat, let alone. In fact, that a lot of victims in different hospitals in Nigeria are suffering from malnutrition. Most of them even have a shortage of calcium. Do they even see what to eat, let alone eating good meat? They don't have access to food. They even painted the picture of what happened in Nigeria during the program of the incoming of the Tinubu government immediately just came in, where there were video clips of where Nigerians, some people brought food, cooked food, and it was even poured on the bare floor, not even a cemented, a paved floor, bare floor with sand. People were rushing to eat the food like Hanuman. They painted the picture. It's as bad as that. They were able to even, I don't know how much they did their research, that they didn't relate that a warring country is feeding Nigeria, Ukraine, bringing food, free food to Nigeria. They painted the picture that in fact, even they as medical doctors are now referring citizens to go and mix one herbs or the other, cook some, gather some leaves, because they can't meet up with food, let alone acquiring or buying medications for themselves. This is the same country where government officials or the political class, in fact the government had to even give up to almost 500 members of legislators, the Nigerian legislature, new SUV cars that will even be changed after every 4 months. What of some news reporters said it's 200 million, some said it's 160 million, some say it's 150 million, and the other lion one, who is after they have been noted for too much lying now, Nigerian citizens begin to call them Lion newspaper, said it's 100 million. Okay, let's assume it is only 100 million. This 100 million can pay a Nigerian worker only for car, not the other preferring benefits they are getting, not the ones they are grouping to get the big chunk of the Nigerian national wealth, digging their hands into the national coffers at will. The ones that they use only for car that will be changed after every 4 months. Now, this is enough to pay 50 Nigerian healthy committed workers under that minimum wage throughout their service year of 36 years. And their children will also come. That same money for one man, only one man's car alone, will take 50 workers over 4 generations. 200 million for a car, and every 4 months new ones will come, and a government that is defending. Now maybe you need to see the defense. Let me still continue to table out the content here. Nigerian workers cannot even have transport. They don't have money for transport fare. that the only thing that the Nigerian state does to the Nigerian populace is this fuel subsidy, and all the government, the analyst here took his time. All the succeeding government, the ones that are intending to come, including Peter Obi, said they will remove the subsidy. The only one thing the Nigerian state does to reduce the pain on the masses, they said they will remove, and they did. And they want to subsidize religious activities. When they are even subsidizing these religious activities, it is to the foreign religions, the Islam, the Christian religion. They are not subsidizing in any way to the real traditional religions of the Nigerian indigenes. The real, those of the Nigerians who uphold their natural tradition, their culture, their religion, who are called atheists, or who are called naturalists, or who are called traditionalists, whatever. Some call them pagans. The Nigerian state has no consideration of the indigenous religion, the indigenous, the inherent, the natural religion of the people. The Nigerian government has no place for it, no public holiday for it, no recognition for it, no nothing, because it is a state that has no iota of respect for its own. Nigerian state pays foreign expatriates very big, that the payment for one foreign expatriate can pay over other 100 Nigerian indigenous expats. The Nigerian government prefer to even make some payments in dollars, thereby underrating its own, because there is no self-confidence, there is no respect, in fact there is no value for even the Nigerian state, because they know but want to live in denial, because they are benefiting from the evil order. They understand that Nigeria is a creation of the white man, who bought over the Nigerian state, bought Nigerian state, bought like Guaka. Nigeria was bought at 800 something thousand pounds by Ndochi Britain. Please, YouTube, this is a disclaimer. I am only referring to what is verifiable in the internet. Verifiable. So, my fellow Biafran people and the indigenous people, the real indigenous people who are now given a blanket name, joined, forced together, and the forcing together have kept causing a lot of tension because of the very irreconcilable difference that can only be best when these irreconcilable tribes or people live happily amongst themselves as neighbors. But because those underdogs who are watching over the business enterprise of the white man, whom you call politicians, are doing everything and will continue to do everything unless all of us wake up to take our fate into our own hands. Just like the Biafran declaration is on its way come 2nd December 2024. All of you are reading, if you take your lenses very close to this development, this particular article from New York Times, you will get all the factual weaknesses that have made Nigeria a failed state that is due and ripe for dissolution. I think it is time you see Tinubu's own response, because the New York Times wrote, then the Nigerian presidency had to consult the Nigerian Premium Times. The presidency clears the misconception on New York Times report on Nigerian economy. That is, according to the Premium Times, Nigeria is not the only country in the world facing a rising cost of living crisis. The USA too is contending with similar crises, with families finding it hard to make ends meet. The US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen raised this concern recently as here captured by agency report on June 16, 2024. Bayo Ananoga, special advisor to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu on information and strategy, on Sunday reacted to a recent report published in the New York Times on Nigerian economy. He said Ruth Macklin and Ismail Awal featured story, Nigeria confronts its worst economic crisis in a generation, published on 11 June, appeared typically predetermined and follow the usual denigrating way foreign media establishment reported African countries for several decades now. According to him, he said that because of the misleading slant of the report, there was need to clear up some misconceptions conveyed by the reporters as regards the economic policies of Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But going further, to seen from the Punch newspaper, Tinubu government tackling economic crisis, president replies New York Times. Yes, I am tackling the economic challenges on 16th June 2024. But if we are to move away from that, we will see the concern that has been rose, or concern that has been shown by the Tinubu's contenders or colleagues in the 2023 US election. Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi of Labour Party replied Tinubu, "We will get that from Vanguard. Nigerians not alone in poverty." Check it, that is the headline. Nigerians not alone in poverty. Atiku and Labour Party, who is no other than Peter Obi, tackles Tinubu. This is by John Bosco Abakuru and John Elechenu, Abuja. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said, though there is poverty and suffering in the country, Nigeria is not the only nation facing such situation, and cautioned criminals against vandalism on rail tracks and stealing of electric cables. Describing such act as pure sabotage, he also said that good economics at a harsh time was the challenge his administration must face, adding that no matter how difficult and how challenging it could be, he would not turn his back on Nigerian people. President Tinubu, who spoke in Lagos when he received the delegation from the National Assembly, who came to felicitate with him on the occasion of Eid el-Kabir on Monday night, urged citizens to embrace a new value system to make progress possible. The president's comment that Nigeria was not the only country facing poverty elicited criticisms from former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the Labour Party LP, who said he was elected to tackle instead of amplifying poverty, and they should stop making excuses for allegedly inflicting multi-dimensional poverty on Nigerians. Suffering in the land, said Tinubu, yes, there is poverty and there is suffering in the land. We are not the only people facing such, but we must face our challenges. We must find a way to eliminate banditry and terrorism so that farmers can begin or bring out food from the farmlands. If you do not have good roads to bring the food to the population, even if you grow the food and you are losing 60 to 70% to damage, you will pay for it definitely. President Tinubu contended that Nigerians must have a change of value system if the nation is to make progress. The delegation led by the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, included the Deputy Senate President, Senator Jibrin Barau, and the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kanu, among others. Good economics, a harsh time in the challenge that we must face. As I said in my speech, no matter how difficult it is and how challenging it can be, I will not turn my back on Nigerian people, the President stated, and challenge citizens to have a change of mindset about Nigeria for the nation to overcome the current challenges. The need for some citizens to change their rent-seeking mindset and become more productive to the economy is a change. There is need to stop smuggling and all economic sabotage. Why should we have people removing rail tracks and all that, stealing electric cables and sabotaging the economy? We must embrace the campaign to change our value system. And the Nigerians are forced to ask President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you have said these wonderful things as sweet as they sound, how are you really standing with the Nigerian people on this when all we have seen is you demonstrating with or alongside all of your allies in the current day politics, showing Nigerians that they don't matter, only you and your family matters. You have demonstrated at different time what could not be said as mockery of Nigerian people, even with your statements where you said the laughable stuff. When you made the laughable comment, allow Nigerians to breathe. And it was the same you who have approved over 20 billion naira for renovation of your vice president, your vice's apartment. This money is enough to create over 1,000 jobs, and the people working or employed there will be very well paid and taken care of. You are reminded also by Nigerians after reading through the New York Times, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that you only deceived Nigerian people when you told them you are coming to do anything good, whereas in your own plan you were not coming for anything good. You promised giving 1 million employment. What Nigerian people only saw from you is unemployment. Those who even were having the jobs they were managing have been laid off, just like in the Muhammadu Buhari's led government of APC, where promises of heaven on earth were met. At the end of the day, what was seen was the direct opposite. Life became even more miserable in his time and also in your time. But why some of us are not condemning you or going against you is because, one, we are Biafrans, and we know that our God, who wants to set us free, is allowing this to happen so that the world will know that we, the progressive and productive people, cannot keep staying in an unproductive environment such as the Nigerian state. That we are Biafrans, we are producers, that we want to go and start producing and contributing to the global economy. That we are Biafrans, we don't want to remain Nigerian forever. That we are Biafrans, our God is exposing you. Na Japan kokoko. Wana for the kokoko. No security. Nigerians pay for their security by themselves directly. No jobs Nigerians are creating, you are frustrating. No dividends of democracy, that one there is no hope of it. No good enabling environment for business to thrive. Whoa. Even the very petrol where Nigeria is a very large or giant producer, Nigerian people cannot access this. No kind of relief. No relief. All done by Nigerian people by themselves. How do you still lay claim? How are you still laying claims to statehood when every indices, everything that makes for a state, from every consideration, Nigerian state is not meeting up in anything? No electricity. People are unable to access loan facilities for productions or for any good venture. Nothing is working. Starvation, hunger, sickness, and the inability to take care of it because there is nothing to take care of. Fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom, my viewers from anywhere, we have done our part. Thank you for watching. We are going for the next program in no time.